but I would have had sound. And there was about 3 deals I can think of that we wouldn't have blown if we just had a microphone that works the first time.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Xploit-it Podcast. And in this podcast, myself, Sage Burger, and Alan Latter is going to chat to you about things that we wish we knew when we started this project 7 months ago. Now, Xploit-it Creative Productions is a project that we're working on where we create content for social media marketing and content marketing. And we basically help business owners, individuals, and just any person that wants to make more money with the marketing that they need and the story that they need to tell in order for them to have more traffic or more business coming their way. Now, the first thing we're going to do now is we're just going to go through a few points. So we decided to call today the 7 things we wish we knew when we started Xploit-it Creative Productions 7 months ago. And maybe we'll ask Alan to start with the first one. So the first point, Al, what did you wish we knew when we started?
Thanks, Sage, and it's good to be here at this first podcast. And the first thing that came to mind for me was that one should go. 7 months ago, I would have liked to have known that we need to go where the money is, but not focus on the money. And I say this because we've had 1 or 2 projects come across our plate which offered big money, and which both of us had some reservation about, but we then pursued because it was big money, and we needed the money. We're a small business starting up, growing, and it would have been just so much easier if in hindsight, which is 2020 vision, we'd applied in the beginning, which is that we said, this is our fee, this is the target we go for, we're not going to be attracted by big money. And yet you can't focus on the money because it makes you make unwise decisions. You've got to focus on doing your job at your price that you're willing to do it at.
Excellent. For me, the first thing that I wish was that we said no to bad deals. Now, we didn't prepare this together when we started, yeah. So we're really just giving like our own points here, and it happens to be kind of the same thing. But saying no, not all deals is good deals. Like if you have a deal where you are losing money, or you have a deal where you're not charging your worth, those things is deals that you should say no to, so that you could use that time to actually go find deals that is worth going after. Point number 2 for you, Al.
Well, it was to network. You know, you need to utilize the people that you have. And most sales strategies and marketing strategies start with your first circle of influence. And I've found that a lot of opportunities were there. But remember, when you start a new business, you've got to lead with skills. So as we were learning skills, so the people in my network were more and more willing to talk to me. In the beginning, when I said I'm a content creator, they said, we don't know you as that, so we're not interested in talking to you about that. But as they began to see my skills illustrated, then my network began to respond. Always draw on your network.
Nice. For me, the second one is having a shot list for a project. In the beginning, didn't realize when you go out to go and film something for someone, if you don't have a shot list, you end up standing on site not knowing what shots to take, what clips you need, or any of those things. So once we got a shot list in place, everything went better. We saved a lot of time on site. The customer or the subject that we were shooting, they actually knew what they had to do, and everything just worked faster and more smoother. So having a shot list for any project you work on is vitally important. Number 3, Alan.
Well, number 3 for me, Sage, was that you must follow up with pace. You know what happens when you go hunting in the bush? You see a buck ahead of you. If you snooze, then buck's gone. If you take your time to slowly load the gun, and what happened is we just we were just, and I look back on the 7 months, and we've lost opportunities sometimes because it took us too long. And sometimes that was my fault. I had to look in the mirror and say, hey, you were to blame me. But sometimes it took too long to put together the documents that we should have already had ready to give the client, that by the time we've handed it to the client was bored and said, whatever. He'd moved on, he'd found someone else, he'd lost interest, etc.
My third point segues nicely with that, and that is having a visual presentation to close a customer. In the beginning, we were trying to talk people into the deals instead of having a very simple one page that can visually explain exactly how it works, what we can do for you, and how we want you to move forward with us, and then get a commitment from there. Since we started doing that, the deals actually close better, the customers understand better, and also you don't have to talk so much when you go sit in your sales meetings. Number 4, Alan.
Awesome. Sage, number 4, which we've just recently learned, you learned it from one of your coaches and taught me, and I've seen the impact of it, is post. You're a social media company operating in the social media space. It's a no-brainer, but over the 7 months, it's been a hard one for me personally. Is you got to post. If you want to operate in the social media space, the more you post, the better.
Right. For me, is content doesn't have to be perfect. It's the number 4 one I wrote down. It segues here with what Alan is saying. We tend to want to make our videos look perfect, and the imaging must be fine, and it's this and it's that. But really what you need to do is have a quantity over quality, especially in the beginning. Just put out. Obviously put out the best quality you can, but you don't focus on quality, you first focus on quantity. Once you get the quantity going and the traffic starts moving your way and the following grows and the business grows, then it's easier to then start having a team member help you to edit those time-consuming edits that you have to do every week, that then will help you to have the quality go up a little bit, but quantity before quality in the beginning. Number 5, Alan.
Number 5 for me would be to design a strategy and stick to it. You know, what happened is when you start a new business like we did, there's a lot of, and it was a new market for me certainly, but so there was a lot of influences coming in from all over, and we would sometimes design a strategy, but only in hindsight I've learned that, hang on, yes, design a strategy, you don't stick to that strategy forever, because pivoting is part of business and growing and developing is part of business, but design a strategy that you think is going to work and decide we're going to apply this for the next 30 days. It did distract us at times, is we'd get someone would share something new with us and we would change the strategy. So we ended up sort of swimming like this instead of swimming like this, learning, and swimming like this. And so for me, that was an important one, is to just design a strategy to achieve the goal you want and stick to it.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, on number 5, charging your worth. In the beginning, it's very hard to judge how much you want to charge because you don't feel worthy of those higher prices, but really you are. What you need to do is, you need to do what my coach told me. I asked him, how much should I charge for my services? He said, as much as the client is willing to pay.
Yeah.
Oh my, okay.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is charge your worth. Work out what is the operational cost of whatever you're doing. Work out what does the materials cost and all the things that comes with getting the job done. And then you need to also have a fee over and above that for you as the person who's running the business or who has to make the salary or whatever. And if you charge your worth, you won't end up doing deals like we did in the beginning, where we ended up doing a great job for the customer, but we were out of pocket before the job was over because we did not actually charge enough. Number 6, Al.
Number 6 for me would be, and this might be a little bit of a mouthful, is grow and hold and don't get distracted. You know, as a business, what I've been looking for is every time we've had a little breakthrough, I've thought, this is it, it's going to blow up. And no business grows like that. Mm-hmm. Your business grows because you implement a strategy, and then there's a stagnant period. Now, especially in our business where you need equipment, you grow and then you build equipment. you tweak equipment, you design equipment, you buy equipment, and then you hold for a little bit. You'll be stagnant for a bit, and then you've got to grow again. And that just was something I've learned, that there's no explosion about to happen.
Exactly. For me, it's doing the right free stuff. You see, there's a strategy where you do things for free first, and that strategy works really well. The problem is if you do it for free and it doesn't convert into money, you end up 7 months doing things for free, not having any money. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you qualify the lead first 100%, and only if that lead is qualified, then you follow up with doing a free clip for them or something free, so that they could see the quality of your work, they could feel the experience they would get with you as on your customer service levels, and then only from there you'll be able to convert that free work into paid work. And then it's not really free, because you actually do get paid for it in the end. But what happened with us is we did the free stuff because we were trying to get our foot in the door. Once we got our foot in the door, we realized the lead was never qualified. These people didn't have budget, and we ended up doing all of these hundreds of videos just for basically practice. Number 7, last point for you, Al.
Number 7 for me, Sage, is a bit of a sticky one. We've got certain areas we've had limitation for 7 months, where in hindsight, again, which has 20/20 vision, I would have gone right at the beginning, found someone to invest some money or lend us some money, borrowed some money to buy the right equipment. We've been held back in our growth a lot by sometimes not having equipment, and we've had to be inventive. And you've been fantastic there, Sage, in that you've had to be inventive, look how things made, and we've had to make it. Sometimes it's worked. Some of our equipment is handmade, and it does the job. It's perfect. But some of the places we really battled and struggled, only to realize in hindsight that what would have been better is to buy the right thing from the outset. If I had it to do over 7 months ago, I would have found money somewhere to buy some of the right equipment.
On that point, my 7-1 is how important sound is. I didn't realize how important sound was until we got a mic like this, or some mics like this. Now, in the beginning, our strength, I think our biggest 2 strengths is being innovative and being resourceful. Those are the 2 things that we, as Xploit-it from the start, that's what got us to where we are today. Simply because when we started this project, it was just after COVID. Our current businesses were impacted through COVID, and we had to start something new that we could add to what we're doing to create more cash flow. And Xploit-it Creative Productions was that. And what we did is we used everything that we had, and we handmade some of our equipment, and we would use little microphones off earphone pieces and things to use as boom mics and stuff, because that's all we had to do. And if I just knew how important the sound was, I would have just done the same thing and gotten a mic, and maybe just go make a business loan or something like that, or get a venture capitalist or family or friends to give me some form of income that I can then, or some money that I can then give back to them afterwards. I can repay them, but I would have had sound. And there was about 3 deals I can think of that we wouldn't have blown if we just had a microphone that works the first time. Don't have to test it every time. So guys, that is the 7 points that we wanted to share with you today. I hope that helps you. Before we even go further, I just want to explain to you our fee for this podcast. So this is on YouTube. If you watch this on YouTube, then obviously you don't pay to watch this. It's a free podcast. But we do have a fee. And our fee is you telling your friends about this. Now, only if we added value to you, only if there was one out of these 7 points we mentioned that you could say like, wow, that's something that I can implement in my life, or I can go share with someone that needs to implement it in their life. Only then I want you to please go and tell your friend, share this with a friend, that will use the info that needs the info that we give through to you guys. What we're really trying to achieve, our mission with this podcast, is just to give you some advanced results in advance. What that means is we want to give you tips on things that we did wrong that you can go and use in your business, and you can learn from our lessons. You don't have to go and learn it yourself. So if there was any laugh out of this or any value out of this for you, please go and share that with one friend. Or if you're having a conversation today with someone regarding marketing your business or growing your business, then pull us in that conversation there if you found value from this. And last but not least, if you want to see more of this, we will do a podcast once a week. We will be releasing it on a Tuesday. Hey, Alan?
Yes, Tuesday.
It's every Tuesday on YouTube. A full-length podcast will be released by Xploit-it Creative Productions, and we would love for you to subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey to make the next part or the next half of this year the best year ever.
Awesome, guys. Have a wonderful week. I hope that you've found value and that you can apply that value, and that you join us every week on our journey as we grow as Xploit-it Creative Productions, as a company, as an entity, as a service provider. Awesome being part of this conversation. Thanks, Sage.
Thanks,
and
Al.
have a good week, guys.
Until next week.